Doing this in an automatic car is destroying it, and most drivers don't even realize it. It doesn't only affect your potential miles until you have to go to the mechanic, but it also causes significant safety issues. So today, we're breaking down 10 things you should never do in an automatic car if you want to avoid damage and maintain the smooth ride. Starting with Number 1. Transmission fluid maintenance. Most drivers don't think twice about their transmission fluid until their car starts shifting like it's stuck in molasses. Here's the problem. Automatic transmissions rely on fluid for cooling, lubrication, and smooth gear changes. But once the fluid starts breaking down, everything goes downhill fast. Sluggish shifts, overheating, and grinding noises are just the start. If you let it go long enough, you're staring down a full transmission failure. And that's not cheap. A rebuild can set you back anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000, depending on the car. And if you have a luxury sedan like a Mercedes or BMW, you're easily looking at 5 figures. Most automakers recommend changing the fluid every 30 to 60,000 miles, but drivers often wait until something goes wrong. By then, it's too late. Burnt fluid and metal shavings are already circulating through your transmission, wearing down the gears and clutch packs. Number 2. Coasting in neutral. Coasting in neutral sounds smart when you consider you're just letting gravity do the work and saving fuel while your car glides downhill. Except that's not how modern cars work, and this habit trashes your transmission. In reality, today's cars are designed to cut fuel automatically when you're coasting in gear, so leaving the car in drive while easing off the gas actually uses less fuel than dropping it into neutral. But if you're stuck in the 80s with this myth, all you're doing is forcing the engine to burn extra fuel to keep idling. You see, the transmission isn't fully engaged when you coast in neutral, and this means the fluid that cools and lubricates the system isn't circulating properly. Over time, the lack of lubrication wears down important parts like the torque converter and clutch packs, leading to repairs that cost anywhere from $2,000 to $4,500. And that's if you catch it early. Number 3. Hard launches off the line. Flooring the gas pedal from a dead stop might feel like fun, but if you're doing that in an automatic car, your transmission is going to be on its way out pretty soon. Automatic transmissions are built for smooth, consistent shifts, and not drag strip launches, so when you slam the accelerator, your torque converter takes the brunt of that sudden surge of power. And that surge isn't gentle. It forces the converter to handle a massive load of torque all at once, leading to overheating and internal wear that could shave years off your transmission's life. Launching hard also beats up your drivetrain, including the axles, differential, and drive shaft, which aren't built for sudden shock loads. Repeated abuse can snap axles, crack your differential housing, or even destroy the drive shift entirely. Replacing a snapped axle can cost around $500 to $1,000 or more depending on the car, but if you mess up the transmission, expect a bill closer to $3,000 to $6,000. Repeated launches can also break down your transmission fluid faster because it's designed to keep everything cool and lubricated, and when it's not in its best shape, it'll lose its ability to protect your transmission's moving parts. Neglecting fluid changes after frequent abuse can lead to slipping gears or total transmission failure. So ease into your acceleration from a stop, especially since modern automatics are designed for efficiency and longevity, but that's only if you treat them right. Number 4. Skipping engine warm-ups in cold weather. Jumping into your car and taking off right away, especially on a cold morning, seems harmless, but it's a slow death sentence for your automatic transmission. Cold engines mean cold fluids. When you start your car, the engine oil and transmission fluid are thick, sluggish, and not circulating properly. This lack of lubrication ramps up friction between vital components like pistons, valves, and internal transmission gears. More friction equals faster wear, which eventually means one thing: expensive repairs. The transmission fluid plays a huge role here. When it's cold, it doesn't flow smoothly, making gear shifts feel clunky and delayed. Over time, this could wear out internal components like clutch packs and valve bodies faster than normal. If the damage goes unchecked, you're looking at repairs that can run you anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, depending on the car and the transmission type. Cold starts can hit your wallet in other ways too. Modern engines run a richer air-fuel mixture until they reach operating temperature, meaning they burn more fuel. Cold starts can reduce fuel efficiency by 12 to 25% in colder temperatures, according to the US Department of Energy, which means emissions may also take a hit. Cold engines emit more pollutants because the catalytic converter that's supposed to reduce harmful gases doesn't function properly until it's warmed up. The solution is to give your engine 30 seconds to a minute to warm up before driving, especially in cold weather. This gives the oil and transmission fluid enough time to circulate and lubricate all those vital parts properly. Number 5. Leaving the car in drive while parked. Now I know I should mention coasting in neutral is bad for automatic cars, but so is keeping your car in drive while you're stuck in traffic. When your car stays in drive while idling, the transmission remains fully engaged, constantly sending power to the wheels even though the car isn't moving. Over time, that puts unnecessary strain on the transmission internal components and causes the fluid to overheat. And once transmission fluid starts breaking down, it loses its ability to cool and lubricate the system, pushing you closer to a full-blown breakdown. Sitting with your foot glued to the brake also accelerates brake pad wear. The constant pressure heats up the brake components, wearing down the pads and rotors faster than necessary. Replacement pads might only cost $200 to $500, but replacing them more often than needed can add up fast. Worst case, if your foot slips off the brake, the car could lurch forward unexpectedly, risking a fender bender or worse. If you're gonna be stationary for more than 30 seconds, just shift into neutral or park. It takes the load off your transmission, reduces brake wear, and avoids turning a traffic stop into a repair bill. Number 6. Ignoring low gears on slippery roads. Most drivers never touch those low gear options, L, 2, or 3, on their automatic shifter. That's a mistake that could cost more than you realize. These gears aren't just there for climbing steep hills, they're designed to help you stay in control on slippery surfaces. In bad weather like rain, ice, or snow, leaving your car to shift automatically can backfire. Higher gears send too much torque to the wheels too quickly, making it easier to lose traction. That's how cars slide off the road or into the car in front of them. Low gear limits those shifts and keeps the car at a lower speed, allowing the wheels to grip the road better. This becomes especially important when driving downhill on icy roads, where using the brakes alone could lock up the wheels and send you slipping out of control. Ignoring low gears doesn't just risk an accident, it also stresses your transmission. When you force the system to handle tough terrain without using the right gears, it wears down the clutch packs faster and overheats the transmission fluid. That's the kind of mistake that leads to a full transmission rebuild. Do your car a favor and shift manually when road conditions need it. Using low gears on slippery roads may help you maintain traction and protect your transmission. Number 7. Shifting modes while moving. We've all thought about it, but switching from drive to reverse while your car is still rolling is never a good idea. Automatic transmissions are built to handle smooth gear transitions, but they're not designed for sudden shifts at speed unless you have a sports car with either a PDK from Porsche or a DCT like in an M competition. When you switch between modes while moving, the internal components like clutch packs and bands get hit with a sudden mechanical shock. Over time, the stress wears them down, leading to slipping gears, poor shifting, or even complete transmission failure. The same goes for shifting into park while moving, because that's even worse. You're forcing a small piece called the parking pawl, which is basically a metal pin, to try and stop the entire drivetrain from spinning. Best case, it breaks instantly. Worst case, it damages your gears and shift linkage, turning your car into a really heavy paperweight. From a safety perspective, shifting while moving could lock up your wheels or cause sudden skidding, especially if you accidentally hit reverse while going forward. Just to be safe, make it a habit to come to a complete stop before changing gears. Number 8. Leaving your car in neutral at stops. Some drivers think leaving their car in neutral at a stoplight saves wear on the transmission. In reality, it does, but it's a little more complicated than that. It's good and bad in different situations. When you shift to neutral, you disengage the engine from the wheels. That might sound like a good way to give the car a break, but if you have a mid-range modern automatic car, it's most likely built to handle short stops while in drive, because that's how they're designed to operate efficiently. When you leave the car in neutral, the engine can't provide what's known as engine braking. It's a small amount of resistance that naturally helps the car keep stationary. Without that, your brakes have to work overtime to keep the car from rolling, especially on a slight incline. Over time, this leads to faster brake wear and increased maintenance costs. There's also a safety issue. If you need to react quickly, like dodging an inattentive driver, you'll waste time shifting from neutral back to drive. That delay could mean the difference between avoiding a collision and getting rear-ended. Number 9. Neglecting the emergency brake. The parking brake, also known as the e-brake, often gets ignored by drivers of automatic cars because most people assume putting their car in park is enough, but that's not it. When you skip the emergency brake, you're putting all the weight of your car on the parking pawl, which is only designed to hold your car in place when parked, but it's not built to handle the full weight of your vehicle, especially on an incline. This constant strain can lead to wear, breakage, or even a complete failure of the pawl. If that happens, your car could roll unexpectedly, even if it's still technically in park. Using the emergency brake shifts the burden off the transmission and onto the braking system, which is what was actually designed to hold your car in place. It's especially important when parking on hills or uneven surfaces, but you should engage it every time you park to reduce stress on your transmission. Skipping this step is just a safety hazard. If someone bumps your parked car, or if the transmission fails, that emergency brake is your last line of defense. Number 10. Using 2 feet on the pedals. Driving an automatic car with both feet might seem like a good idea, with one foot for the gas and the other for the brake, but it's a habit that can cause more problems than it solves. First off, automatic transmissions are designed with one foot driving in mind. When you use both feet, you run the risk of accidentally applying light pressure to the brake pedal while accelerating. That creates a constant drag on your brakes, wearing down your brake pads and rotors faster than necessary. This also confuses modern car systems. Many new vehicles have sensors that detect when both pedals are pressed simultaneously, and some may even cut engine power to prevent accidents. That might sound like a good safety measure, but it becomes dangerous when you're trying to accelerate out of a tight spot, like merging onto a highway. Using both feet also increases the risk of delayed reaction times in emergencies. Your brain might signal both feet to react at once, leading to hesitation, or worse, pressing both pedals simultaneously during a crisis. Mechanically speaking, resting your foot on the brake while driving can cause overheating in the braking system, reducing its effectiveness over time. In worst case, it can lead to brake fade, where the brakes stop working altogether. But if you do want to use both feet, you should consider swapping out your automatic for a manual. Automatic cars make driving easier, but that doesn't mean they're immune to damage. Every bad habit adds wear, strains your transmission, and shortens your car's lifespan. Thanks for watching. Drive smart, and your car will reward you with years of reliability.